So, happy summer. Promised you a summer special, and here we are. And for the first time in ages, it's all three of us. I'm not wearing rugby gear, Mark's looking cool, and Rod's had a Brittany.
It's too
So,
warm. I can't hack it. The vest's on and the hair is gone. It's the way it is.
well, you know,
I know you don't
deal
like
with
it,
it.
Sam, but
Deal with it. I hate you with a shaved head because you've got beautiful hair. So, I think me and your mum will probably be on the same spreadsheet as this and be like, what you done with your hair? Um, but we thought that we were going to come on here tonight. We were going to talk about St Helens, Osprey signings, and the new Nations Championship. What the were we thinking?
we're kidding ourselves, weren't we?
Yeah,
I'm like,
None of
WIU have to
that.
come and shit on everything, don't they? They just can't help themselves.
why are they going to ruin my summer? I'm having a
Yeah.
hot girl summer, and they just ruining my summer. Not that I think that I'm a hot girl, but apparently it's the kids thing now, hot girl summer. But that's what we thought we were going to do. And then we might as well have ripped it up, thrown it in the air, and gone, whatever.
Yeah. I did say on our WhatsApp group chat though, didn't I, that at least we have recorded this side of the news because otherwise we would have got the tone completely wrong. We would have all
Yeah.
There's
been happy-go-lucky, starry-eyed about St. Helens, and yeah, we would have just missed the mark.
we
So at least we
literally,
can react now.
like, I know there's more coming in the next couple of days. There's no way there's not more coming. There's no way that audio's not going to get published or the transcript's not going to get published. So we know more is going to happen, but we'll park that until the end. Let's talk about nice things
Yeah, we'll do the
first.
happy half first and then the doom and
Do the
gloom at the
happy bit
end. Yeah.
first, and then we'll get into the
Yeah.
shit show, this Welsh rugby.
Yeah.
So, really busy summer on the Ospreys front. And I know we've said it before, but I genuinely think I'm going to have to buy myself a fair dinkum cork hat and learn to speak with an Aussie accent because we are now officially turning into Australia with the Australians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some decent
Are
signings,
we?
to
Fantastic.
be fair. Yeah.
And
Like,
and they all came within, a really short time period, didn't they? We were
Yeah.
sort of devoid of announcements for a long period, looking with green eyes of envy at some of the other Welsh regions, at all the signings that they were making, overseas players especially. And then suddenly, over the course of what was it? A week and a
Not even
half,
a
yeah,
week,
maybe
yeah.
week
two
and a half.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We had four announcements.
you've got to give it, they all know Ryan Smith. So Ryan Smith, give that boy a job with the Welsh Tourist Board because he's got them to come here saying how lovely it is and how nice the community is. And now my boys, Debbie and Jack, have gone. Like, I still love Harry Deves, but I really like Ryan's going to be my new
Do,
favourite now. Dan and the others have gone. I'm going to get a t shirt with him on.
Do you think he had a referral bonus, like when you join
If
a
he
new
Yeah.
bank or
hasn't,
something, and it's like get
Yeah.
20 quid
buy
for
one, get
every friend that you get
Every
to
friend you
join?
introduce,
family and
yeah.
friends referral.
A month of
Um,
Sky Sports free or something.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like buy one get three free, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like the Aldi middle aisle. You just don't know what you're going to get. Um. So yeah, some amazing, amazing signings. Um. Have to say as well, snaps to the Ospreys PR team for those signing videos because once again they were absolutely banging. Really, 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 really good. Now, um, with regards to the people that we've signed, then it is in positions that we have long said um, we need we need cover for and we need replacements for. Most importantly, at 10, because we know Dan is obviously going to be away on international um, duty with Wales. We've got the second part of the Nations Cup coming up. So he's going to be away for that. The good news about that really is because you've got that window now. So we know it's not going to go on for longer than that. But you know, it's we've got it there. So some amazing signings. We knew Tom Rogers was coming, but obviously we've got Liam right now. We've got, and I'm probably going to get his name, Foketi, Lalaki Foketi. I am going to love that surname all over the recording of season 3 of the pod because I'm going to be Foketi off. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a thing. I'm going to get it like going.
And he was superb towards the end of the Super Rugby season as well. He put in some amazing
Absolutely
performances and
brilliant.
very, very exciting.
We've got Lawson Crichton coming in, which again is amazing, and Dan John coming in for Exeter. He had a really good run for Exeter. Harry Wild on loan to us as well from Cardiff, so that's really good because the reality is don't keep him in Cardiff if he's not going to get any game time. Send him down to us so we can bring him on. And I think for him, it was a move that he wanted to make as well. So it didn't make any sense for Cardiff to stop that from happening. And we've also got someone who signed for us from the Northampton Boys School area, which, funnily enough, I knew about quite some time ago because I got contacted by his mum because it was someone who I used to work with who said, my boy's signing for the Ospreys. He's only 18. He's coming down. Absolute beast of a player at 7. So for me, coming in as an 18-year-old youngster, we've seen what it's done for the likes of Sam Underhill and other English players who come over in the past. So hopefully we can give him a really good introduction to professional rugby. But for me, we've made some crackers of signings over the summer period, and I'm really excited to see them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, the Harry Wild signing could be the most interesting of the lot in some ways
yeah,
because he's going to get game time. Obviously, Dan's going to be number one, 10. Um, but it's interesting that we've gone down that route in terms of bringing on and developing and giving an opportunity to a youngster, as opposed to what the Scarlets have done, bringing in Anscombe. I know he's going to be third choice
was
technically there,
thick
isn't he, rather
note.
than second choice. But if he's even fit enough to play, but I think that's a really interesting move for us. If he can develop and his talent shines the way that we've seen it at under 19s or
And
20s
yeah,
level or whatever it is, then that could be a cracking signing, and it might lead to a smaller drop off potentially during the international windows.
yeah. And I think that can only be a good thing. Um,
Mm.
and it's another tick on our. I don't, we'll get into this later, but it's another tick for us that we are bringing on that young talent.
It's a
You
very
know,
Mark
I
Jones
think,
move, isn't it? I think it sort of
it
sums
is.
up him as a
yeah.
coach that he wants to give these youngsters a chance.
I think what he's demonstrating is his ability to shop sort of intelligently rather than lavishly and just getting attracted by the big signing or the name that'll bring a lot of attention and a lot of news stories, and actually being a bit more strategic and being willing to, I think we've had a number of seasons, really, haven't we, where I think you could say that our signings have been a little bit underwhelming. And regardless of what goes on to happen then in that season and whether those players prove themselves or not, just that sort of little bit of a lack of excitement in the
Seven at the
pre-season for
wow.
this. But I think Mark has managed now to demonstrate that he's shopping intelligently, but still drumming up that excitement. The 3 Australians, the fly half cover, the fact that we've essentially got a net positive gain of players after losing Jack and Dewi, isn't it? We've
Yeah.
taken that money and invested it across a broader set of positions and players. So, yeah, I think that's got its own sort of level of excitement within it anyway. The fact that you can see there's some real intelligent, strategic thinking.
And it's lovely to see that we're going to have that strength and depth. We're not going to be totally screwed during an international season,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
because
that's
what
what
was
we've
it
been
last season?
successful for.
You'd lose Dan, then you've got to move Jack into the fly half. So you haven't got Jack in his Jack Walsh in his preferred and
Yeah.
his most effective position. So effectively, even though you're losing only one player to the Welsh squad, you're actually getting hit in 2 positions on the pitch. So
Yeah.
I think by having just a greater number of maybe more specialist players, opposed to people who can float across that back line, will be beneficial to us going forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just see it as a really positive summer of signings for us.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. As you say, it's that adaptability, isn't it? You've got Tom Rogers that can play 15 or wing. Ben John can play across the back line. So we've got players we can slot in, as you said, in different positions as and when needed, rather than have those set positions, like you said. And if anybody goes down, then we've got somebody to slot in. Whereas in seasons gone past, we've been thin in certain positions. I
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
feel we're going into this season quite as thin as we have been previously.
no, no. And I'm really pleased to, as I say, we've got that wow factor because um, it, there were certain elements of regional rugby fans that were frothing at the mouth about the signings that we were making, and having jibes about us signing overseas players.
Mhm.
Um, the reality is you've got to have some overseas players for that international window. And do you know what? The likes of Ryan Smith coming in, he's been so positive to those younger Welsh players around him with his work ethic and with everything that he's brought to the table. And it is nice that someone like him, I know I was laughing and joking, but it is nice that someone can say to players from their home country, it's a really nice place to come and play, you
Mm.
know?
What's good as well, I
Because
mean, the players we brought in, they're not household names, the Australians that we've brought in. If you watch Super Rugby, then you'd be familiar with some of the
yeah,
names. But we're not in a position where we can sign a Barrett
yeah,
or we can sign an Awani or whoever it might be, like the Leinsters of the world. So what Mark's done is brought in quality players who are going to enhance the squad, who aren't necessarily household names and are not going to be on
I
extortionate wages as well.
yeah, I've loved watching these. Like Saturday morning is my guilty pleasure of watching Super Rugby. I will admit that. Um, so seeing names that I recognise and being able to say, yeah, that's a bit of me, that is.
Mm.
It's just gonna be lovely seeing that. And it's been nice seeing the pictures of them in training.
Mhm.
Um, you know, they're big lads. They're not small by any means. Um, while I'm on that train of thought, before I forget, Jesus Christ, have you seen the shape on some of our players at the minute? Harry Deves is a thirst trap for housewives at the minute. You've seen the shape of him.
No, I've not seen those pictures, no. I
Jesus
thought there for a second you
Christ.
meant they'd all let themselves go over the off season and they were going to come back a
They
stone
have
overweight or
not
something. No.
they have not been snacking, let me tell you. They have not gone chubby over the summer. They've had a bit of a glow up. Because I was looking at some of them and I was thinking, there's a size like Lewis Lloyd. What a size gone in him, but he's like solid.
Lewis Lloyd's always been in cracking shape, actually. He's
He's in
very
even better shape now.
he's very squat and square, isn't he? But actually, I have noted that about him before. His arms are in incredible shape, and he's got a very sort of triangular figure.
Yeah, they're
But
nice physique.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they've all been doing some training on the off season.
yeah.
Um, like not that I'm nearly 50. I can't be perving over this now. And I like a bit of a dad bod because to be fair, I'm not being funny, right? As a woman, if you're falling asleep on someone and you're having a bit of a snuggie, abs aren't really that comfortable. They not. You need a bit of like squidgy. Um, Not saying that they're not nice to look at. I'm not like they are, but I'm of an age now where I need comfort. I like get a crick in my neck. Um,
Our first trip and our first games of the season are away in South Africa, aren't they? So
they are
you can't ask for a better summer to prepare you for that, can you? With this
boiling.
with this heat that we've been having.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
humidity has been horrendous.
I must be sweating buckets.
Honestly, I was almost like Monica from Friends in that Bahamas episode.
I,
I
I
didn't
stand
think I'd
That's
up.
get
good.
mangled. I'd have cornrows.
I get up too quickly off the sofa and I break a sweat in this. Honestly, I can't imagine what they're going through. I'd have to have an IV in permanently just to keep me hydrated.
Honestly,
Mm.
it's horrendous. and like the sun hits the front of my house and my office from around about midday onwards. So I've literally got a tan on this side and nothing on this side. So when my office finally gets done, I've got a blind to put in the window, and I'm doing an IKEA desk hat with Carlac shelves. So I will be facing the window and facing out. So I should get a nice tan on my face. But I will have a like a blackout blind that I can pull it down so I'm not like blinded by the light. But it's been horrendous. So looking at them training in that heat
Yeah.
was just a fair play to you, like beasting you, getting you to do the bleep test. That's mean, like really cruel. But as you say, good prep. We've also got our pre-season friendlies. Um, Coventry, I think, is the 12th of September,
Coventry's the
maybe.
4th.
Is it?
And then
Is it
who have we
Ulster?
got? No, Ulster
Over, yeah.
then, the week after that, or it's just over a week after that. It might be on the 12th or something. I'm going off memory. But the Coventry one is definitely the 4th. I've got that in my brain for some reason.
The yeah, Ospreys Coventry is the 4th.
Hmm.
And then we have got, yeah, Ulster on the 11th. Um,
11th.
I mean, the
was
Coventry one's an
considering,
interesting one, but I'm not sure why we're playing Ulster
Yeah,
when we're going to play
yeah.
them
I
twice over
don't
the
get
season as well.
Ulster.
So, well, no, sorry,
Um,
once over the season, sorry, but it's a weird
don't
one.
get Ulster.
No.
Um, I
I loved that pre-season where we played a game at the Liberty that was three halves or three
with the different
20-minute
local
thirds
clubs.
where we played, yeah, Bridgend, Aberavon, and the Whites. That was a
Like
great
that.
little event because, it gave those those younger lads playing for the clubs a chance to step up and see what that level above is like, the intensity of it, which will benefit the Ospreys down the run, isn't it? Because the thing about playing somebody like Coventry is ultimately they are benefiting more than us. It's a chance for us to and that's not saying, they're pushovers or anything like that, but ultimately it is just a run out and a chance to get the muscles pumping and everything, isn't it, before the season starts
Yeah,
for the Ospreys boys. So something a bit more challenging
yeah,
is always a better reflection of what you need to get right by the start of the season, isn't it?
yeah. Coventry's a Friday night game as well. And I think John often goes to courses around there. I think it's about 3 hours drive away. So it's not really a go up and come home kind of thing. So I'm in an hour in at the minute because to have to take the day off work, potentially stay over. Um, so I'm in an hour in. But I know that this is gonna sound, I think Cardiff are playing Gloucester, aren't they? In one of their pre-season friendlies.
Oh, that
I
would have been
think I
fun
spoke.
if we had Gloucester, wouldn't it? And we got to see Dewi and Jack run out.
Should have made that part of the agreement of selling them on to Gloucester that we get a friendly pre-season every year for the next 5 years or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alternated between St Helens and King's Hope.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? If it was an Ospreys home pre-season friendly against Gloucester, the first game
I
that
like.
Jack and Dewi play in
Yeah,
a
would play,
Gloucester
would be
jersey
back
could have
row.
been at St Helens, and that would have been
Yeah.
a nice sort of thing, a
I
final
like.
send-off.
They
It
will
was
be playing in
Worcester and
Wales though, won't they?
Exeter.
Because Bristol's game in Cardiff is against Gloucester, isn't it, in April? So
That's what I'm
they
thinking
will be
of.
back in Wales for that
But I'm
one.
going to that. I will be going to that because I went last year to the Bears Big this year to Bears Big Day Out, and I
Yeah.
really really enjoyed it. It was a good day. Had
Mhm.
tickets through the blue light, and I think we paid a tenner for our tickets, and it was a really 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 good game. But we are thinking of booking and going up to Gloucester for their first home game on the 3rd of October because it's against Quins. So we are thinking of booking and going up and watching that. Um, we like going to Gloucester anyway, and we like King's Home. Um, so we're thinking of going up and doing that because we are going to be away anyway. So it's a perfect time.
Mm.
We're not going to be missing any home games. It's a perfect time for us to go up. So if anybody wants to join and go in convoy, more than welcome. Um, but yeah, really looking forward to seeing the team. Should be a cracker of a first game against the Dragons down in St Helens. Um, and yeah, I'm excited for the season ahead. I just hope that off the field stuff, the lads
Mm.
put their head down and get on with it. I would love to see Sam Parry appointed as captain. I think he's got the kahunas and the moral fibre that I like in a captain. I think he's got it in him to do it. Would love to see that. So hopefully we'll hear more about that now in the next couple of weeks. But on to St Helens.
Mm.
Rod, you've had a piece of turf.
I have.
Oh, you did, yeah.
I need to cut it, in fact. It's
Do
getting a bit
you?
long. Yeah, yeah. My little
Okay.
sward of turf is looking like it's got a funky hairdo at the moment. It's
Is
just a
there
big
like an
furry
aura that
ball.
comes around you whenever you stand on it?
They're
There's like a
like,
glow
oh,
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can just hear Welsh choral music sort of
love it.
emanating, like when you open a chest and the glow comes
Yeah.
out
Like,
and you can hear angels singing.
um, loved seeing the aerial photos and the drone footage that people have done. Um, the existing stand has gone, turf has been pitched up, the base has been laid for the new pitch, so floodlights are down. At the moment, it looks like a shell of itself, but like anything with any building work, it always looks like a complete shambles before all of a sudden it comes together
I think it'll
and it
go up
looks
quickly
banging.
now.
Oh,
Mm.
it'll, and
Soon as
this
they get that
weather's
gravel
amazing.
down, yeah, it's perfect for them, isn't it?
Perfect because they're
I
not going
w
to lose anything.
I so wish I lived in one of those houses overlooking, just so you could just like get your daily updates and just monitor it. If anyone's listening who has eye line into the ground,
Invite
get in
us.
touch
Yeah.
and we can set up a live webcam 24/7,
My
I
streaming
like
the
live
long
webcam. We'll do a
yeah,
fucking podcast from your balcony.
my
Um,
long gone auntie used to live in one of the houses up in sort of Bryn Mill, and you could see the cricket pitch, but you couldn't see the rugby
Steve,
pitch.
I
So go down
think
in the
they
summer
are
with binoculars and look over the cricket pitch.
amazing houses.
Yeah,
Um, I would love one, but they all seem to be student flats now, and I am off the age where I can't be living around students. Um,
yeah.
as much like I got no beef with them, but I'm grumpy. I need my sleep, so
we just
Oh,
about tolerate Rod, don't we? So
I'm, as you know, as you're referring to, I am now a student and I avoid the students. I certainly avoid the undergraduate ones, those little children
it's like,
scuttling
yeah,
about in
no,
packs.
can't
Avoid
can't
them
be
like the plague.
can't be dealing with that in my life.
I walk
So
around all haughty-taughty now, like I'm
do
better than
you?
them.
I love that. Um, but loads going on, so it's going to be amazing to see how that shapes up
Yeah.
over the summer.
Mhm.
And as I say, absolutely perfect weather. It means that they're not being interrupted by rain, they're not being interrupted by anything. If they're laying concrete and anything else, it's going to set really quickly. So for me, it probably means that we're going to buy some time back so that we are super, super ready for when we get to move in. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that.
I'm hoping
Um,
that somebody's got one of those cameras set up, when you see the sort of sped up footage and stuff, when there's a camera on something
Like a time
permanently
yeah,
and then they
lapse.
speed the time lapse stuff. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
hoping somebody's got had the foresight to do that, because it'd be amazing to see the full story of St Helens transformation from beginning to end at
Yeah.
some point.
Ospreys have got to be doing that, surely.
You'd
If they're
think,
not,
yeah.
they've missed an
Yeah,
opportunity
I've
there, and
exactly.
somebody
suggested
needs to
that a
be
few
fired.
times. Um, I've suggested it a few times and said, I think you need to consider that, um, you've got that there so people can just drop in and see, oh, today there's a digger doing this. Um, Absolutely would love that. Um, we also have to mention that there's been a change at the top. Lance has resigned. Um,
Bloody
then
hell, I'd forgotten about that.
So would I, to be honest. Yeah, when he said,
so did I. I didn't have it on the agenda, and then I just remembered.
yeah.
Um,
God, yeah, that
What's
completely
being
left my
said?
brain.
It was kind of inevitable, I think, wasn't it? After the last 12 months, it would be
I
very
think
difficult for
so.
him to sustain
Um,
his position,
I do
sadly.
think
But
so. I can only say, I can only speak as I find, which is I liked Lance. I always found him quite engaging, quite open with me, quite friendly, quite willing to chat. Um, and I think he was in a hard position. I think he was damned
Mhm.
if he did, damned if he didn't. Um, and I think the Welsh rugby public are quite unforgiving when it comes to that kind of
Mm.
thing. So I think he's retiring, full stop. Someone did message me on Twitter and say, I think it's unfair the kicking that he's had. And I replied with exactly the same thing that I said. I can only speak as I find. I liked him.
I
Simple
suppose
as.
we'll never know the full extent
We
of the
won't.
conversations that went on behind the scenes and what his involvement was in that.
Yeah.
We can only speculate on that, can't we, at the end of the day? But I think you have to say that he
Yeah,
brought the club forward from when he
yeah,
came
definitely.
Yeah.
within that first period, certainly up until the last 6 months where things have been a little bit murky. But
Yeah.
up until then,
Um,
it was a definite positive, wasn't it?
I'm not going to pile in with a kick in. Do you know what I mean? There's enough shit going on in the world as it is.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean?
I'd even go as far as saying that we were better, we were better off with him than without him, certainly the period beforehand.
Mm.
And I think he will be a loss to Welsh rugby. He was one of the positive characters throughout the
He
saga of the
drove.
last few years.
Yeah,
Made some mistakes, but
he
it's a high
doesn't.
pressure situation, and he was essentially thrust out there by the WRU and by Y11 to just be
Poor
the guy
guy.
trying to juggle the
Yeah.
narrative and paper over the leaked stories and
Yeah.
just
The punch
yeah,
bag, basically, wasn't he, for
exactly, yeah. So
Yeah,
I do sympathise with him. I think he was
absolute
dealt a bad hand.
bollocks. And as I say, I think he was screwed either way.
Hmm.
He undoubtedly was a massive driver for St Helens and getting us out of um, the Liberty. So we wish him well. I've got nothing bad to say. You know, I just think Welsh rugby is a dumpster fire. And he's collateral damage,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
Hmm.
Really, really is. But we've also had the European fixtures announced.
Hmm. Some
So,
exciting ones, aren't there?
yeah. Now, I am not a fan of the European fixtures, but not for the reason that you're thinking. Only because my job doesn't allow me to take time off for the weekends where these fixtures are placed. Purely because just before Christmas, just after Christmas, just before Christmas is absolutely horrendous for me in my job because the world is wife and their dog wants to move before Christmas. I can't do that to my colleagues. Um, so that's the only reason I get a bit gutted by these fixtures. But we have got um, Black Lion on the
Mm.
17th of October. Now, I could potentially do that, and I did look into it. However, has anybody looked into trying to get out to Georgia?
Funnily
No.
enough, no.
Fucking horrendous.
What's the capital?
Horrendous.
Tbilisi?
Tbilisi, is it?
Tbilisi.
Yeah.
No direct flight to Tbilisi. None at
Really?
all.
That's
Not
surprising.
really.
What
No.
from where? From anywhere in the UK?
London. So you've
Yeah,
got to have a
okay.
stop. You've got to have a stopover, either in Turkey or I think it might have been one of the Middle Eastern
Yeah.
countries. Um, so you were looking at an 8 hour stopover, and this kind of thing. So trying to get there is absolutely horrendous unless the club charters a direct flight
Mm.
or a company charters a direct flight. Absolutely horrendous to get there.
Mm.
We should get a black feather shower bang and just
I love the word
pile in.
Charabang. I haven't heard that for years. Um, so it's horrendous to get there. But you've also got to consider where it is located within the world.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, don't think I want to be near, the Ukraine, Iran, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But once you get there, cheap as shit, and apparently really nice. You just got to get there.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
good
have
luck,
not been
boys. You
able
won't
to
be there,
find a
but
good way to get there. So Rod, you can have a little look into that, boo, but it looked horrendous to get there. So
that sounds like a challenge for Rod now.
I know.
You wait
Yeah,
December, there'll
that
be photos of
I'm not
Rod
the type.
on a
Not the type
train
of
somewhere in
person.
the Middle East or something.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
planes, trains, and automobiles, isn't it? It's like raced across the world. I'm not doing that. I'm old. But exciting wise, which I love, 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 love,
Yeah, that game's an interesting one. Away
it
in
is.
Georgia.
Mm,
It's not a given, is it? We know they
No,
beat
no,
Scarlets in
in
Llanelli.
Llanelli,
Was
yeah.
it
yeah.
season before last? Or
Yeah, I
the
think
I
it
one
think
was,
before
it's
wasn't
that
it?
again?
after.
But
Might
yeah,
be
in
3 years
recent
now, yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge. So, plus you've got the travelling. But we have got, and I am gutted this wasn't away. I am gutted it's home. But I am kind of hoping that whichever TV channel's got it brings Joe Marler down. We've got Quins at home on
Oh no,
the.
I'm glad that's at home. I think that'll be one of the occasions of the season.
I know,
Quinn's
but I
coming
would
to
have
St.
liked an,
Helens.
but I would have liked an away trip. We could have
Yeah,
gone
yeah, I
shopping
get
in
that,
London.
but I don't like London. Um,
They don't like
if I
you
can
either.
if I can avoid going there, I will. So no, and the fans coming down to St. Helens, that
It's going to
because
be lash.
the regular complaint about Europe, isn't it, is that often there's a bit of travel associated, and the dedicated fans will follow a team over to
Yeah.
France or whatever, but you don't get the huge traveling support that maybe Prem teams get within their contained league. But to have, well,
Oh, it's 4 hours
hopefully
and it's a jolly.
500, 1,000, 1,500,
Well, look
fans
how
coming down
easy.
following the Quins, that would be fantastic.
M4 or the train. It's
Yeah.
easy for them to get you. So that will be a good day.
It's one
A
of the
good day.
headline games of the season for me.
And it's a
Looking
one
forward to
o'clock
it.
kickoff. So it's really nice that you can go, like, because I got the platinum seats, I got access to the clubhouse. So I can be there from like 11 o'clock in the morning. Happy days. Kick off at 1. You done by what? 3, half 3. It's Christmas. You're going to have a banging night out then in Wine Street. Do you know what I mean? Amazing.
Hmm.
And you've got all the pubs and everything around there. Then you've got 9th of January, we've got Toulon out in
Away. Yeah.
Toulon, wherever. And then
Hmm.
we've got home on the 16th of Jan against Vans.
Hmm.
So again, nice fixture.
I think
Yeah.
the Toulon
That'll be
away trip's
the
going to be a popular one with
Toulon
fans.
is
A lot of people will
I
go out
wish
there,
I
I reckon.
could, but
Yeah.
it's literally too close after Christmas. And I am going to Scotland in March.
Mm.
So I kind of gotta cut my and I have promised myself if my bonus is really good for this year on my billing, I'm gonna buy myself a Mulberry handbag. I can keep that longer than a trip to Toulon, can't I?
Think
It's an
about the memories,
investment.
though.
I know, but every time I go away, the only time I ever go away is to watch rugby.
Yeah.
Need to get out of that habit now. Um, so
Broaden your horizon, Sam.
I
With
know,
a
but I don't
handbag.
want, but
There's
I
other
don't want
countries in
to.
this world that don't play rugby.
I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Don't make me. Um, but I think that's a nice group. I do think it's
Yeah.
a nice group.
Yeah,
Don't get
it's
me wrong.
challenging but
Yeah,
navigable, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I think over the last few seasons, the European knockouts have produced some of our most memorable games and some of our best occasions. So I
We've
think, yeah,
stepped
we
up
need
to it.
to treat this, yeah, exactly, treat it the same this year.
Yeah,
View it as an opportunity to prove ourselves, and yeah, I think we could. Yeah, it's a navigable draw,
yeah.
as I said.
Yeah.
We,
I think it's pretty, it's, as always, it's targeting the two home games, isn't it, to win those,
Hmm.
yeah,
which usually is enough to get you out of the group with maybe a losing bonus point here. And then you'd hope that we could win out in Georgia rather as well,
yeah,
to sort of properly cement the group. But
Yeah.
yeah, the two home games are going to be key, aren't they, to win?
yeah. So that's our Ospreys news, unless anybody can think of anything else. I know we're all waiting in anticipation for the new shirts to come.
I just had a thought about that
God,
Black Lion game before we
yeah,
move on, and and I know we're going to get onto this at the end, but if the Ospreys do go, Black Lion are going to be one of the names that would be touted as a possible replacement in the URC. So
yeah,
this could be over the next couple of seasons, the sort of
of the
the
fittest.
survival cup or something like that, the survival plate. The two
Yeah.
teams in black battling it out to see who
Just
gets to survive.
it's just
Anyway,
right.
let's not go there. It's us versus
Let's not go
Scarlets
there
at the
yet.
moment.
Yeah, yeah. But we've also got a new competition that we have been partaking in over the summer. Now, different format, different way of looking at it, rather than your traditional summer and autumn fixtures. Lots have been said online, and it's one of those things where we didn't really know how this was going to pan out until we witnessed it, really.
Mm.
So obviously the format is you've got your Northern Hemisphere teams in one pool, you've got your Southern Hemisphere teams in another pool, both play
Plus
against each
Japan.
other, plus Japan. Are they Northern or I don't really know. Like I
They
know
are
Japan
Northern
They are
Hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere.
They're
Northern.
Yeah.
way up above. Yeah.
But you've got that kind of north-south divide. We have had 3 Saturdays of non-stop rugby from 8 in the morning till 10 at the night, 10 at night. I don't know about you. I frigging loved it.
Me too.
It's
Me
brilliant.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
Just in
nice
terms
to
of
be all on the same
wall-to-wall rugby.
broadcaster as well.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just stay there. Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
slight overlaps in some of the games,
There was.
and
It
then
was annoying.
slight bigger gaps where you thought, oh, well, if they shifted that game before, 20
yeah,
minutes later, there wouldn't have been any overlap and there'd still be time to fit them all in.
yeah.
So a little bit annoyed, but
A
yeah,
little bit of tweaking.
But then my OCD kicked in though
generally
because I had to
amazing.
watch them in order. So before I could
Yeah,
watch the second game on the Saturday morning that was on the main channel, I then
Hmm.
had to somehow catch up and squeeze
on
that
that
middle
one.
game that had overlapped, which
Yeah,
meant I
Okay.
wasn't always watching the games exactly live. So I was a little bit
Hmm.
behind sometimes. But that's
yeah.
just me, the way
Yeah.
I
my head
think,
works.
and because the weather's been so hot on those days as well, didn't really want to go anywhere, didn't really
No.
want to do anything. Sat in my PJs watching rugby all day, bacon sandwich, cuppa, living my best life.
And
Yeah.
thankfully, there
Um,
were some entertaining games as well to make it
Hmm.
worthwhile
we,
staying in for as well. It's been a good
yeah,
3 weeks of
Yeah.
rugby.
absolutely,
It
absolutely amazing.
It definitely had that like World Cup group stages feel though, didn't it?
Mm.
Where there is that just wall to wall rugby and you can watch rugby over your breakfast and then it's the last thing you do before you
Dinner
go to
and
sleep.
tea,
So
yeah,
I did
Yeah.
love that. And it's worth saying that this is obviously like a step towards trying to align the global rugby calendar across both
yeah,
hemispheres, isn't it? And I
Mm.
think it was a good step in that direction. There were kinks, and there are things that definitely need working out.
Mm.
Maybe we can get into some of those, a lot of
yeah,
travel, etc., etc. But I think just as a spectacle, and I didn't find myself really looking much at the table or thinking much about points.
no,
I was still in a sort of just autumn international mentality or summer international mentality where I was just taking every game as it came and just hoping
yeah,
for a result on the day. So it is a bit odd that, it's split over this longer period with 3 games now and then three in the autumn
November,
that technically stretches over 2 seasons,
yeah,
certainly for us in the Northern Hemisphere, isn't it? So it's a bit disjointed in that sense. I don't know when we get to the autumn whether it's going to feel a bit different as you then start building towards
Towards the
those
finals, yeah.
finals and you
yeah,
can start putting things into greater context. But then there's also going to be some teams that just look at it and go, well, we haven't got a shot at this point. We lost it in the first round.
yeah,
We're just in it now to not embarrass ourselves and just,
yeah. There's stuff
produce
that you
something
can
nice
take
on the
away for
pitch.
it. There's stuff that you
Yeah.
can take away from it. I think for me, travel is a big one because, it's got to be a hard slog. We had our first game against Fiji in Cardiff, which disappointing because of the number of people there, but I can understand that you're hitting peak summer holidays. It was frigging boiling, and there's a little bit of disenchantment with the Welsh rugby
Yeah.
union.
I
But
think
Plus,
what was
as
the
most
WRU
disappointing.
didn't do any of the promo.
no,
So that was all done by Fiji. So it wasn't pushed through their usual networks and channels,
yeah,
was it?
I think the shame for
yeah,
Fiji was that the reason they had to play their games away was because there was a minimum stadium capacity, I think, of 25,000, I think, that you
yeah,
had to have in order to host matches within this competition. And then they bring the game to Wales and get a crowd of 16 or whatever it was. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
for that size crowd,
Although,
you might as well have played at home. So,
well, I think their stadium in Suva is half
five
that again,
five
isn't it? I
thousand.
think
is it
it's
that small?
genuinely
Okay.
about
Yeah.
6,000. Yeah, it is tiny. It
Yeah,
wouldn't qualify for Premiership or
no,
URC rugby,
No,
It
no.
would.
no.
It's just a pity that I think that took away, and you said about the kinks in the competition. I think some of the countries not playing in their own country
Mhm.
Ireland.
is unfortunate in terms of the competitive side of the games. Fiji at home probably would have beaten us. Um, they might have won another game possibly as well. But yeah, and then Japan, obviously, Ireland was an absolute farce. Not that
Ireland
Japan would
took
have
the
won if they were playing
piss
at home,
with
but
that.
it just felt like complete preferential treatment in it to let
Piss,
Ireland
absolute
play
piss take,
in Australia and make Japan travel.
Yeah.
absolute
So
piss
as you
take.
said, there's those kinks, isn't there? But yeah, it's a pity because Fiji rarely get to play internationals at home anyway. Um, and yeah, just think that's a shame.
Yeah,
But they haven't got
Yeah.
the structure there, or as you said, to do it is the problem. And
Yeah.
that's maybe on World Rugby to put them in a position where they can build
yeah.
that infrastructure a bit more.
Exactly,
Someone's
because they will have been taking all the money from these three fixtures that they played in Cardiff, Liverpool, and then was it Edinburgh,
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 yeah.
yeah,
or Glasgow? Yeah. So, if that money is going straight into the coffers, that is going to then fund in 2, 3, 4 years' time a bigger,
Mm.
better stadium,
yeah, it is.
then great. This competition has facilitated that for them. We just got
And
to
I
hope that
think
it gets there.
that's a massive plus for it. Obviously, for us, hard slog because we had Fiji and Cardiff, straight on a flight then to Argentina, from Argentina to South Africa. So basically, you zigzagged across
Mm.
the
One
world and across
one day of
continents.
training before
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Argentina,
day of
one day of
training,
prep.
you
Yeah.
know. Same with regards to South Africa, really. So that does automatically put you on a back foot. Like, don't get me wrong, we weren't. I would have liked us to have beaten Argentina, and I think if we'd have been defensively cuter, then that could have been a possibility. Like, I'm not slagging on you, Argentina, but you know, it could have been there for our taking. We
Mm.
knew we were going to go to South Africa and be on a hide into nothing.
Mm.
That's, that was a given before we went. But I don't think the traveling really, really, really helped. Um,
So on that, you were saying, the results were a given. Um, has this competition come at a really bad time for us now in Wales when arguably the way that we've dropped down the world rankings, the way to sort of build up, or one take on the way to build up to back to where we were would be to play the teams around you,
Mm.
positioned around you in those global rankings, learn to beat them, and then start building back up again, and build from that point. Well, we're not going to get the opportunity now to
yes
do
and
that.
no.
There's going to be no gaps in the year for us to go off and play a three-test series against your Georgias or
Gorgeous.
Japan or
Mm.
Yeah.
those comparable teams right now because
Yeah.
I I'm a yes and a no on that because I do think you should play your level, but I have written here in my notes there are some good things that we can take away from the three games that we've had. I think we can look at the losses, and if you're Joe Blogg's average Welsh rugby fan who's, for want of a better phrase, a plastic, if you're just looking at the results, you're like, fuck, we've lost two games again. However, if I put my hat on where I'm looking at it critically, can I see areas where we've improved? Yes. Can I see areas where we can get better? 100%. But
Mm.
I'm kind of in the camp where we need to keep punching above our weight to take those hard-earned lessons away.
Mm. I thought it was a really hard series to judge because I was trying to think about it in the context of how the other countries got on against the three countries we played as well. And if you
Yeah,
consider Fiji, we couldn't stop Fiji's offloading game at
no,
all, whereas England shut them down completely the following week and they didn't get a sniff. England had
they
a
did their
they
homework.
they, they had a game plan to actually stop that offloading game completely. Argentina even harder to judge that performance because Scotland had battered them, and yet then Argentina pushed England really close in the last game of the series. Um, so it's difficult to know where our performance stood in there because Argentina were a bit Jekyll and Hyde in their other two performances. So it's difficult to
It,
judge.
Yeah.
I think it gave us an eye opener in that, and I know loads of other people have said this. What's our identity as a team?
Mm.
Because at the moment, we I get it. How do I say his name? Is it Murchie? Had
Yeah,
a week
Peter
with the
Murchie.
team before they started. There's not really a lot that you can do in a week. Admittedly, people will always say that it's easier to put a defensive plan in place than it is to have an attacking plan. But the defence that we had was horrendous. It seems to have gone back 15 steps compared to where we were,
Yeah.
say a year ago. So I get it that he's come in, he's trying to change things, but some things should be natural when you're defending on the field. You don't lose all of your muscle memory then with defence just because someone
Yeah.
new has come in.
There seem to be
And
so many errors, and sorry, I don't know I don't know whether it's down to a new structure, but there was so many occasions where we were dog leg or where we were leaving gaps or people not pushing up together.
too narrow.
Um, just sort of basic things that you do at sort of school level, almost in terms of defense, that they were just getting horribly wrong. Um, and whether that's,
Yeah.
as I say, a result of him trying to introduce a new defensive structure and we're just not used to that yet. But on the field, it just looked awful.
It,
We're
it
not playing to our strengths, I don't think.
yeah, yeah. It didn't look like a drastically new system defensively, did it? It didn't look like they were trying to do something vastly different to what we were
No.
doing before. It just
It's like
looked
we were
like the
suddenly doing a
same,
Sean
but
Edwards blitz
less.
or anything, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It just looked like the same, but less well executed, really, isn't it? And
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I think you've got to take that with a pinch of salt at the moment. It is a new guy with a new regime. I think the concerning thing that you touched on there, Mark, was uh, not getting the most out of the sort of talent that we've got, isn't it? Not getting people on the ball. Zamet must have touched that ball maybe a dozen times across the three games, and that might be even
Didn't seem
generous.
didn't seem like he
Yeah.
was looking for work. Or
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't, you've got to go and find the ball sometimes as a winger. The ball's not
yeah.
automatically going to come out to you. And I think, the 9-10 partnership, again, you could like it always makes me laugh when the presenters go sorry for the bad language that you can hear on the screen because at points you could hear Thomas saying, fuck's sake, lads. You could really see him getting angry because I think sometimes his club performance has not always translated onto international performance.
Mm.
And, is that him or is that what he's got around him?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we just don't seem to have that game plan or that identity. We don't seem to play to our strengths of, you can have the best game plan in the world, but if you haven't got the players to execute that game plan, it's absolutely pointless. Can't fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
So we have to work out what works for us and our players.
I think those two players that we mentioned, Tomas and Zamet, are perfect examples of players who know they've got a starting jersey every single week.
I'm gonna fight for
And
it.
I think that's probably a mental factor is yeah, in the fact that they don't really seem that busy and that motivated to go and hunt for things
Find the
in the way that we
basketball.
know they do at club level. Because at club level, they seem to have less stability and less consistency week to week, knowing that they're going to get that spot
Mm.
guaranteed.
Yeah,
One of the big complaints I've heard a lot about Steve Tandy over the course of this competition is the fact that he has been playing Thomas 80 minutes a game,
Mm.
with nobody coming on to put that pressure on and make him feel like he is
Yeah, Hardy and
competing for his
Ruben.
jersey.
Yeah, Hardy and Ruben might as well have had a summer at home. They
that
might as well have
last
Yeah,
sent
game,
me to cover nine because
yeah,
they
yeah.
had about 10 minutes between the three matches, didn't they?
that last
Yeah.
game in our WhatsApp chat when we were talking with like the people who like watch and listen to the pod, they were like, "Oh, do you think Ruben will come on?" I wish I'd put a bet on because I literally said he'll come on with 7 minutes to play.
Mm.
And bang on, he came on at 73 minutes with 7 minutes to play.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in 7 minutes? You're
I think
not.
the attack, if anything, is more of a concern than the defense in a strange way because Sherritt's not just been there since the start of Tandy's reign, but he was there pre-Tandy as well as head coach. So his stamp is all over our attacking structure, and we still have no
It's not
attacking
working.
structure. And
Yeah.
also, there doesn't seem to be a clear understanding of who our best players are. There's the chopping and changing with Edwards and Costello. There's Eddie James coming in and out of the team. There's, Tom Rogers has been in and out of the team. It's not just personnel, but the structure of our attack. We have no identity in attack currently. You can
No.
see the forwards. There's a little bit of an identity, you know, developing there in terms of their play. But as far as the backs go, and I mean, the last test, they even went as far as putting two-thirds of the Scarlets
Still
Mm.
didn't fucking
backs
work.
in, and it still make any difference
It
whatsoever.
was
So
like
that's the
they'd
biggest
never
worry for
met
me.
each other.
Sherritt's
Like they'd
had
never met each other.
years to work with these players now, not just months. He's had years to work with them,
And
and there's
that's
nothing
not a
there in
kick
terms of
in because
South
they
Africa, we
start
didn't
up
lay a glove on
players,
them. South Africa, we
you
didn't lay
know.
a glove on. Scotland showed that South Africa can be vulnerable in the wide channels and things the weekend
Yeah,
before.
we didn't.
We didn't lay a glove on them.
No.
I
So,
think what we're lacking and what I'd love to see is just a bit more like instinctual rugby. And
Play
and
what's
that's
in front of
probably
you.
just the cumulative pressure of so many losses. It tightens you up, doesn't it? And makes you scared to make those mistakes because you know that the press and the fans are all going to
Gonna
slate
rep
you
it.
for it. But if Steve could just, and I don't know how you do this, but
Free 'em up.
create the sort of environment, yeah, where you just feel less burdened by everything, all the noise that's going on, and just give them a bit of license to go out and
Go out
embarrass
and
themselves
play.
if that's how
Go
it
out and
happens.
play.
Go
mm,
out and
I don't
play.
care if we're on the end of a 97-0 drubbing.
Hmm.
If I can see something clicking and I can see joy and pleasure and they're trying things, okay, it doesn't come off. But you know what? Eventually it will. And we've
yeah.
been through that at the Ospreys. Can you remember there was one point where we couldn't string a pass together? Everything was a hospital pass. All of a sudden, this season gone, it started to it started to click. So I don't think anything is going to change overnight, but I do think we need to find the identity that we've got. I
Yeah.
think we need to stop messing about in certain positions. Again, not just because it's Dan Edwards, but you can't just say, oh, we brought Sam in because he deserves a shot, he deserves a turn. This is international rugby and it's international sport. Can't just say, oh, give him a go, lads. Let him have a go. Why have you picked him against that team? Do you
Mm.
think that he's better against that team than Dan is? If you pick Dan, is Dan better against that team than Sam? I can get that. I can buy into that, but I don't. This is professional sport.
Mm.
Not everybody deserves a seat at the table.
Yeah, and they didn't try and do anything different tactically when
No,
Costello came into the team. Like you said, if they'd brought Costello in to do a certain role and they changed tactics to suit his strengths, then fair enough. But it was the same game plan they were asking them both to execute.
yeah, and like no offense, Dan executed it better at points.
Mm.
So that's my frustration at the minute is finding that identity, growing into that identity. You know, we've got to work with what we've got. So there's certain set pieces and there's certain game plans that are not going to work for us because we haven't got. And when I use the word talent, I don't mean talent in the way we haven't got the people to back up that style of game plan. So we should start seeing more now of what Steve Tandy wants to do. He's been hamstrung with like where he hasn't been able to get his coaching staff in and whatever else. But now's the time where it needs to start bedding in. We need to have that national sense of identity. We've never had the biggest players in the world. We've never had the bulkiest players in the world, but we've worked to the strengths. We can go back as far as the 70s and say we haven't had the big players. All right, we've had some gnarly bastards. But when you met the likes of JPR, Gareth Edwards, all right, okay, they were older when I met them, so they're going to have shrunk a bit, but they weren't big lads.
No.
But fuck me, what they could do with a rugby ball.
Mm.
And we played into that. We leaned into it. We took that as our identity. That's what we need to find again.
So if you consider what Scotland have done this summer, they've played very much to their strengths. They've released their backs. They've used their wingers
Yeah,
to good effect in stretching the game. They're playing with an identity and playing to the strengths of the players that they've got and getting fantastic results. I mean, they pushed South Africa really hard, thrashed Argentina. They're getting the results, and it's bearing fruit that they're sticking to their guns and playing a style of play that suits what they've got in front of them.
and
Yeah.
Gregor Townsend
And
hasn't had a problem with dropping people.
No.
no, no. Although I would say that I think the most disappointing thing for me, selection-wise, was dropping the centre partnership for that final game against South
Yeah.
Yeah,
Africa, because that was the one area where we're starting
it
to
was
just
working.
see a little bit of development after so many different combinations for the last 2 years. I thought he should have stuck with that for the 3 games. They're going into a break. They're going to have the time off. Just flog him a bit, and just for the sake of
Yeah,
building that relationship between the two. And I think Ben Thomas, when he came in, he had a bit of a hard day, didn't he? And
he
that, but
did.
but that was asking the impossible of him.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't
He hasn't
mind
played
seeing
in a
Owen
year.
Watkin come back in. I think Owen Watkin has still got something to offer for Wales, and he's got
Mm.
something to offer the younger players.
Yeah,
I do think that there's no harm in having these older players around the squad or included within the squad to bring people up around them. All right, they may not be match day contenders, but they're there. And I still do think Watkins could do a number in a Welsh shirt.
Mm.
I do believe that's the case. Um, I would just love to say I still love Derry. I still love him. When he came off that field and he said to the ref, "Thank you very much. Just to let you know, Sir Jack is now going to be the captain." And he shook his hand and said, "Thank you." I am old enough to be Derry's mum. So there's no element of me sort of like fangirling over Derry other than I would love to be his mum. Can you imagine him being your kid? And I am old enough to be his mum because I'm 49. So I could have been a young parent, but I'd have still been in my early 20s having him as a kid. I just love him to be my kid. I love him.
Dewi, if you're listening, the restraining order's in the post.
Oh, shut up, man. He always says hello to me and he always gives me a hug and a kiss on the cheek and says, "All right, Sam." And he'll always
He's
That's
too
say,
why
scared
Buddy
not to,
left the
Sam.
Ospreys, man.
"Oh, fuck
Oh, he's
off."
gone to Gloucester.
Going back to the rugby, though,
Driven him
lads.
out the door.
Going back to the rugby. I do
I just think he's a
wonder.
nice kid and he's got that captaincy now. And if anything, that showed me how amazing it was. Now, I don't know about you, but I was watching the football at the same time as watching the rugby.
Mm,
Football players could learn a fucking lot from rugby players.
yeah.
They did my head in, particularly the Argentinian whining
Oh,
bastards.
God, yeah. That was ultimate shithousery wearing a replica of the
I
86
know.
Maradona
Maradona
Hand of
shirt.
God shirt against England. That was
Love
just
it.
classic.
I love that, right? But me and Mark are old enough to remember the Falklands War. So a
Yeah.
bit like the Germans, fuck them. We're not there with them, right?
But I
As
had to
much as
laugh
I
at the
love the
England fans
war,
crowing about Argentina and why would anybody support Argentina after the Falklands when they've got a German manager? I thought if
exactly,
you're going back that far, then come on.
exactly. But it was a bit of a shit show after that England Argentina rugby game, wasn't
Mm,
it?
Mm.
Yeah.
That got like spicy. That got
Uh,
really, really spicy.
just touching on
But
Wales again briefly, my
yeah, go for it.
worry is, are we being left behind for good here? It kind of feels as if we're so far behind the top tier nations now. I can't see how we bridge the gap back to them again. Whether
We
it's
saw that
just that
before.
we're just at such a low ebb at the moment, and that's just sort of where we're all at. But it just feels like, South Africa was like a training exercise for them.
No,
I don't know
no.
whether we can make it back again. I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna Ted
nobody can
Lasso
touch South
you.
Africa. I think that they are genuinely in their own division at the very top, with maybe two or three in a tier slightly below them. So,
Hmm.
um,
I
I,
would love
I,
them
I
to have
think
more
at
blood works.
I think at all levels, teams are asking the same. Everybody's improving, but the people at the top are improving at a faster rate, and the
Faster
gap's
rate,
just
yeah.
growing, and everything's becoming so much more
Yeah.
extreme.
I mean, Italy are going to be
I
very disappointed with their series as well. I mean, they would have surely targeted that Japan game as a must win, and they just didn't show up at all in that
Yeah.
first game.
And I guess
So
that is the danger, isn't it? It's becoming like Italy, who have been given so much money and resources
mm,
and time to develop as a competitive team over the last, well, 20 years since they joined the premier competition of the Six Nations, and it hasn't really produced much, has it? They've
mm.
sort of clawed themselves off getting sixth consistently every single year to doing a little bit more, but they're still not even close to competing for
no.
even second or third, are they really? So, yeah, that I guess I do share your concern in that sense, Mark, that we just don't become another Italy, just piddling around at the bottom. One year you get, oh, aren't Wales doing really well? And then the next year it's, oh, Christ, we got a 30-point blowout again. And there doesn't seem to be that progression. So,
I'm gonna be
yeah, it
poly
is scary.
positive. I'm gonna be
Yeah, we
poly
need
positive.
positives. Come on,
Go on,
Sam.
Sam.
Absolutely not. I remember the 80s and the 90s, and I didn't think that it could get any worse. And then all of a sudden, we hit a stride again. But we hit our stride because we put resources in place and we had an academy and we invested in players and we invested in players within our strengths. We played to our strengths. So I'm going to Ted Lasso you now and say, I believe.
Good for you.
Have you
I,
seen
I,
Ted Lasso?
I'm
Yeah.
hopeful as well, Sam. I am hopeful. I think we can get back there, but
Got
not
to play to our
with the current
strengths.
infrastructure that's in place
No,
to sort of deliver on that.
no.
And the
But I
infrastructure
don't
that's
think.
to come as well, which we'll talk
Well,
about in
yeah,
a minute, I'm sure. But
yeah. So we should get onto it because we're already at
We will.
we're
We're
over an
already at
hour
an
and we
hour
haven't
mark.
even got on to the WRU.
Well, I'm just going to keep the shit show that is the Welsh Rugby Union very, 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 very brief
Yes, because there's
because,
going to be
quite
more. We need
frankly,
to
there's gonna,
remind
yeah,
ourselves that this
going
is
to
an
be
ongoing
more.
saga and not
Um,
burn ourselves out because I got a bit burnt out by talking about this all the time
yeah.
last season. It was miserable.
So
So, yeah, let's do five, ten
strap
minutes
yourself
just
on
in,
gonna
Rod.
this.
There's a lot more to come.
just gonna buckle up, Buttercup. So shit show that is the Welsh Rugby Union. They have so far failed every single deadline that they've had. We were told we were going to have a plan in June. We were told we were going to have a plan by the end of June. Then we were told the plan was imminent. So yesterday, then we get the announcement. This is our timeline. This is what we're working to. We know that we're going to give licenses to Dragons and Cardiff, and they have now officially come out and said, right, Ospreys and Scarlets, you're duking it out west. We want this sorted by March 2027. So I got a couple of problems with that. More than a couple of problems, if I'm being honest. And I'm really sorry. I've been on your radio and I've been on your TV screens by the time you watch this tomorrow because the BBC loved me. But my
Oh, we've lost your audio, Sam. You lined us
mate,
up for something then, or was that just me?
am I back?
I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Was that the
Can you hear me?
WIU censorship kicking in then?
Yeah, that was
They
spooky.
kicking in. They like, yeah, shut it, Sam. You're done. For me, my main concerns are this is Groundhog Day, just before the start of a new season again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're giving Cardiff and the Dragons and this, please, fans of these regions, I'm not having a dig at you because this is nothing to do with you. However, you have to acknowledge, even if you are a fan of these regions, your players now have certainty that whatever happens at the end of the next 2 years for the PRA, whatever shape or form, if you are in a new entity, you're in existence. You're in a commercially
Yeah.
financial better place than us, than the Scarlets, because you've got longevity. You're going to be able to sign players up. You're going to be able to get them through the door.
Us, on the other hand,
Us
Yeah.
now,
set up to fail.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
we go
it's
into this
starting
season
to
not knowing if
feel
it's our last.
it's starting to feel malicious in the timing that they do these things. It's like,
Horrendous.
right, just when you've got like a moment of positivity,
Good
just when
news.
yeah, St. Helens news stories, this and that, moment of respite, boom, they hit you
Yeah,
with another massive, massive hit of uncertainty.
Whereas the
And
reality is it's probably just incompetence rather than maliciousness.
yeah, the whole
yeah, well, it's so
process,
regular now, and the timing is, it can't be denied that, like,
the
it
whole process
feels
lacks
like,
complete credibility because we've seen no data, we've seen no figures, we've had no transparency about what was
no.
going on. What little trust they had was lost last year. And you're saying you need to trust us. I'm really sorry. If someone says, trust me, I don't trust you within an inch of my life because I know you might as well line up the Vaseline because I'm going to get back fucked at some point.
I
Hmm.
think
That's
the
the bottom
difficult thing
line.
is we've been sort of all the way through this process, we've kind of thought that this is what the end game would be, that it would be us and
Yeah,
the Scarlets who were in the firing line. But we've had the reassurances all the way through. No, it'll be a due, be a
everybody's got to
transparent
apply for a
process. Everybody's
license,
on the same.
everybody's
Yeah,
got to do the
exactly.
same,
And
you
then
know.
as it turns out, it's exactly what we all thought 18 months ago is actually going to be what
Yeah,
finally does happen. So it makes you wonder what
we,
has been the point of the last 18 months of putting everybody through this when they knew exactly what they wanted as the
Yeah.
yeah.
outcome at the
And
beginning.
we are now going into St. Helens. We're in control of our own destiny with our 50-year lease. We've not been given the chance to prove that we can become a money making business. We're never going to plow millions or make millions, but we got the chance of breaking even because we've now got control of our food, our beverages. We can look at non-match day income. One of the things that I've suggested is these European games that are away. It's going to be a shitter to get to Tbilisi. You've got the clubhouse now. You could charge fans a fiver to get them to come in to watch it together with other fans,
Hmm.
or even if you don't charge them a fiver, you're going to have people there drinking. If you put all the European fixtures on that day, you've got people like me who will happily go down and park my ass there all day. You
But it's
know,
okay, but it's okay that because the West Wales team can play all of their warm weather games there in the future.
it's absolutely horrendous. You know, I don't want to lose a region. I don't. But if we've got to lose a region, all four need to be at risk, not just two. And there's talks of a merger, but that's because it makes your life easier if we merge. I don't want to merge. No one I've spoken to wants to merge. There are people out there, or I'll support whatever entity, but you're like I'm going to be controversial now. You're not a dyed in the wool person who's invested then for the last 20 odd years and you've gone through this before. I don't want to frigging merge. I don't want to trek myself down to Parker Scarlet and have half a season down there and half a season down here. They don't want that either.
No.
Geographically, you're saying that two-thirds of Wales, because let's face it, up the Neath Valley and to the west, up to north, two-thirds, like my math's not the greatest, I'm pretty not clever, but two-thirds of Wales, you're saying deserves one region, and then you've got two regions within a 10-mile space of each other
In the
who just
east. Very, very
encompass this
much in the
in the
east.
east. Like,
Yeah. I mean, Scarlets fans are going as far as saying they would rather see their team play as Llanelli in the SRC than merge with us. That would be a preferable outcome for them if this
and
has to happen. And I think we'd probably be exactly the same. I do think, and we've all said very openly on here that none of us would go and see a merged West Wales team.
Rather
And I
shit in
think
my hands and
thousands of
crap.
people would be the same. That they're going to have to build a whole new fan base.
I will. I'll piss off to Gloucester because what I'm paying for my season ticket down here at the minute, because I've gone for platinum, I can get a season ticket in Gloucester for exactly the same. It's an
Mm.
hour and a half away, travel wise, or I'd rather pick my games and go for hospitality and be posh
Mm.
that way. And I know that sounds really, really harsh. And some people have said, oh, but are you cutting your nose off to spite your face? Yeah, because I want to, because that's how I feel.
But this is the tactic now. I think it's trying to divert attention away from themselves and putting the pressure on us and the Scarlets. Make the public's eye turn towards us and start having that debate of, well, why don't you just merge then? All
Yeah,
the sort of fair weather fans going,
because I don't fucking
well,
want
if it's for
to.
the best of Welsh rugby, why don't you? Get on with it. And it's because they're diverting the attention onto
They
us and
only
making it
watch
seem
Team
like it's
Wales,
not their
though.
problem.
They only watch Team Wales. So for
Yeah. Well,
me,
Reddin still hasn't been to a regional game since he started,
no, he's a
from what
fucking
I
knob,
understand, and he
allegedly.
works next door to one of the clubs.
Yeah.
Honestly, it absolutely fries me.
The,
And we have had such positive news about the amount of season tickets that we've sold because we've smashed last year's we've projection. That terrace is gonna be bouncing. I know so many people, and you've had it people say it to you as well, Rod. For the first time in a long time, I bought a season ticket.
yeah, I've heard people saying for the first time ever, they're
Yeah,
going to be buying a season
you know,
ticket.
for
In
me,
fact, I spoke to Harry Williams, the little scrum half who we saw playing in the pre-season game
he's
at the start of
talking.
last season against Exeter. I bumped into his father the other day, and his father's never been a season ticket holder, even though Harry's been with us for a little while now. But he
Yeah,
said this season coming up, he is. So he's a brand new season ticket holder. So yeah, I'm coming across them all the time. People saying that they're
yeah, me
gonna
too. And I think
join.
it's because the investment that's been put in by the Ospreys, by the council, the fact there's going to be such a fantastic community hub that's going to be used by, you know, local communities, it's going to be used by the university, it's going to be an amazing pitch that's going to be able to take, a lot of playing on. It really is going to be a community feature.
However,
We
then
need,
next March, whatever decision they make is just
Yeah.
pop a pin in that balloon, isn't it?
why
This
is
is
Whether
all
that?
it's a merger,
despite the WRU, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Whether it's a
And,
merger, whether it's us
you
disappearing
know,
or Scarlet's disappearing, that's just going to pop a pin in it.
yeah, give us the
Or that momentum can
opportunity
go.
to show that we can succeed. We're not going to do that in one season. So for me, if I was going to say anything to anyone, now is the time that you need to put your ass on a seat
Yeah.
in St Helens or get your feet on that terrace. Don't watch from home anymore. I know it's not great on a cold Friday night or a Saturday night when it's Baltic freezing, but Secret has opened a chip shop across the road. It looks banging. They've got mussels and cockle popcorn and everything. Not that I like it.
It's also a critical time for a united front between Ospreys and Scarlets, despite everything that's gone on and all the blood from the last couple of years. This move is to try and divide us and get us to sort of
Yeah, as
merge or
much,
fight it out, isn't it? It's either
much, yeah,
yeah. So we need a united front now more than ever
as
to just
much
let
as
them
I'd
know that
love,
this redirection is not gonna fly.
yeah, much as I'd love to tell them to go do one after the debacle with asking them to get involved last year, now they want to get on board with it. But we need to put those differences aside. And the thing that annoys me with that is we could have been so much stronger together this time last year,
Mm.
but you thought you were hunky dory. So you were, didn't want to throw your lot in with us. You need to throw your lot in with us now. Likewise, Cardiff and Dragons, you're safe now. The original plan was to go down to two. Don't think they're not going to push for that because I don't
Yeah.
trust them. And
Mhm.
Dragons, no offence, when it comes to you and Cardiff, you are gone because Cardiff is the capital city. So don't think you're safe for a
Yeah.
minute of that.
Yeah. The
Not,
ultimate plan is West East, isn't it? They want these two
yeah,
regional teams in either side of the country. and to sort of create those two super clubs, so so to speak.
Yeah. And
What
I just
stinks?
think
Sorry.
it stinks.
What particularly reeks for me about all this is the fact that hidden in that announcement, not you know, um, criminally hidden, but on the sort of uh, the non-upfront sort of attention grabbing things in there that could easily go missed is that the WRU were going to make pushing through this plan a vital component of replacing Collier Keywood. So whoever comes into that role, part of the interview process is going to be,
Do you
what
agree?
is your
Do
plan
you
to
agree with
push
this?
this through?
Yeah.
When the reason that Richard Collier Keywood is no more is the fact that he
He
wasn't going
couldn't
to survive
bully.
another vote on the board because of this plan that he's tried to force through in a bullish, unprofessional way. And now they want to bring somebody in who's going to do the exact same, where actually, if you look at it objectively, this could be the perfect time for somebody to come in and can abandon this plan with no repercussions or
With
nothing,
fresh eyes.
no reputational damage for that individual themselves because they haven't had to regale their own words. But
You're
they could have
already
put
bringing
somebody in
someone in with
place.
a bias. The
Yeah,
bias from the
exactly.
start.
It's not bringing in somebody who's going to be objective and look at all options with a fair and equal eye.
Yeah, but there's more to come.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to seeing when this call recording gets published or the call notes, because it will be very, very interesting. Um,
What you're saying, Rod, about the timing of the announcements again. I mean, the scheduled timing now for the next decision to be made is the end of March. So we're talking end of Six Nations, heading into the
so
end of
yeah,
season running for all the regions. So again, it's awful timing again, mid-season, to be putting that uncertainty onto the players and onto the staff and everything else at that point. Well, why not leave it until the end of the season, make a decision in
Yeah.
June,
Hmm.
when at least everybody's got to finish the year off. But yeah, I don't know.
I think
They
there's
don't operate
malice
that way,
there.
do they? They don't operate like
no,
that. So
it's just horrendous. But it'll be interesting to see what happens and what plays out over the next couple of days. And we can always have another little special once we've done our pre-season friendlies. And if anything interesting comes out, we can have a quick jump
I mean,
on.
if anything interesting comes out,
Gonna
if
happen. Gonna happen.
goodness me.
But we've also got to talk about the training kit for Wales that has dropped
Nice
today.
light tone to finish on.
Yeah, calm down.
So, hey. Um,
Is that going
so
straight over Rod's head again? No.
I
Is
know
it another
it's Harry
80s
Enfield and the
reference that's gone?
Scousers.
I just thought that was you, Sam. I didn't even realize you were doing a bit.
No, no. Literally, was it the Paul McGann and the McGann brothers who were all like Scousers
It
with
was Harry
Harry
Enfield, isn't
Enfield?
it? Was it Harry
Yeah,
Enfield? I can't remember.
it was Harry Enfield and Chums.
Yeah.
Um, Literally, I've seen it today. Now, Mark and I were alive in the 80s and the 90s.
And we
So
looked like
black
that.
we did. And we wore the basically in the 90s, it was slick, if you were a girl, slick back ponytail, something about Mary, fringe quiff thing, hooped earrings, your shell suit on, and then you didn't wear trainers, you wore kickers. So wallabies, we called them in the 80s or the 90s.
like
Iron
like football
incorporate.
astroturfs.
No.
No,
What do you
miles
mean by
off, Rod.
kickers?
Way off.
So kicker shoes, wallaby shoes, Cornish pasty shoes.
No, means nothing to me.
Okay, right, okay. They were
A
from
sport
Clark.
shoe. A sport
No,
shoe.
not a
No, not
sport
sports shoe
shoe.
at
Oh,
all. No,
really?
no, it
No,
didn't go with the shell suit at all.
Oh my
Didn't
no,
God.
match whatsoever.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, and that's what you wore it with. Now, the anthem jacket looks flammable. I'm not gonna lie. Not even Lewis Rees Sammet posing in it can make it look good.
Yeah, we
Um,
literally walked around wearing a death trap, didn't we? On
oh,
you know,
absolutely.
if
Right.
the
So if
sun
you
shone too
Google
bright, you're going
wallaby
to catch fire, weren't
shoes,
you? So
Google wallaby shoes,
I just have.
you have. So it was
Yeah.
them. And you'd leave the tag on the side of them as well, which said Clark's. You could get them in suede. I had pink suede ones, but I also had for school black leather ones with the
I
Kickers
just
brand on there.
can't picture that with a shell suit.
Well, neither could we, but it was a thing. It was a thing.
Clark's finest wallabies.
we we wore
100%.
leg warmers as well, Rod. So there's all sorts of shit that went down in the
Listen,
office.
I
So.
wore 3 pairs of socks to school, knee-length socks, because you put a black pair on and then you ruche those down just so. Then you'd have a grey pair and you'd ruche them just so. So you just have a little bit of black showing up on the top. And then you put a white pair on and you ruche those down. So you'd have a white sock, grey edge, black edge, living the dream. The
Layers
skirt
of
where you,
complexity.
honest to God, right? Then
And then
you'd
a
have
shell
like
suit on top.
you'd have a short kilt on because I was much thinner when I was younger. So I had a short kilt, like in grey, school shirt on, and then the world's smallest tie
Hmm.
because it was a thing.
We used to have the ties the other way around, though. We used to have the thin bit of the tie
Yes,
Yes,
showing and the thick bit at the back. Yeah.
yes,
exactly. You
yes.
tuck that down into your
Tuck that
shirt
inside, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
and you try and get away as much as possible with mascara, foundation, and lipstick. But 9 times out of 10, you'll be told to wash it off. And you thought you were it if you had a Benetton carrier bag, roasting bag, or a Jane Norman one to put your PE kit in. Just saying.
There we go.
So that jacket, it's not giving me vibes. It's giving me my hair. I've used half a can of hairspray and gel on my hair. If you come near me with a naked flame, I'm going on fire vibe.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
No.
You know,
So
really not.
it's a good job that we're all banning WIU merchandise at the moment anyway, so we don't have
Rod
to do
likes it. He just don't know what he'd wear with it.
it.
I can tell you
Well, you
what
It's
he'd
know
all
now
wear.
right.
you wear
Although
those shoes
the,
in a shell suit.
there's two types of those materials, isn't there? There's the like the smooth one, and then there's the one that's
The
got a bit more
crinkly one.
texture, a bit crinkly, and it looks like the crinkly one,
It
which I'm
does.
not sure about.
No.
Um, but
The day
I
glow
don't
green.
mind the callback sort of aesthetics. Like I love a classic cotton jersey. So anything a bit vintage. It is cool. It's just personally, I don't know what I'd wear
Not
it with.
fucking vintage. I remember it the first time around. Vintage to you. Um, I'm not feeling it. I thought it was black, but it's green. So it's green, white, and red. That makes more sense now. But I'm still not feeling it. The Dayglow green training shirt. Now, I love me a training shirt. We know this.
See that.
Um,
Neither have I.
I'm
I
not
haven't seen this
feeling the
yet.
Dayglow green training shirt. I am liking the Ospreys green um, travel shirt, the cotton t-shirt, and the green hoodie because I loved my
Ooh.
Ospreys ones of those.
Sorry, the
I
shell
loved
suit's just
those
popped up on my
colours.
screen again. Ooh, that is bright, isn't it? The
Day
training
glow,
shirt.
like
Yeah,
absolutely day glow.
that's
So
properly bright, isn't it?
I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling the darker foresty green because I'm going to be vain now. It looks nice with my hair, but I can't buy any, so I'm not going to buy any. Um, so yeah, shell suit. Ads in our group said that he liked it. Ads, shame on you, babes. It's not a vibe. It's not a vibe. Um, but that is our Welsh Rugby Union roundup. Now, got a veranda because it's traditional. Um, and I'm going to go a bit left field with this today because in work, because it's been really busy, we've been doing a question of the day for people to vote on every day. We've done some really random questions, and my friend Kat in work, she loves this podcast and she watches it. She knows fuck all about rugby. So can everybody say hello, Kat? Hello,
Hey
Hey,
guys,
Kat.
Kat.
you don't need to know about anything about rugby to listen to us because we don't know anything about
No,
rugby either. So that's all
no,
right.
not at all. Um, so we asked a question the other day, would you rather fight a Bernese mountain dog sized spider or 100 seagulls?
Um,
I've got previews with seagulls. There is a seagull in Llandudno who's flying around with half a flake in their mouth still from about 10 years ago that I'm not letting go. Um, yeah, seagulls scare the shit out of me. It's the way they look at you out of that side eye.
It's
So
the
imagine
beady eyes,
100
isn't
of
it?
them looking at you, sort of thinking, yeah, they're going to attack you in a second. Yeah, that'd be too much for me. So I'll
they
take,
don't scare me, but in those numbers, I think they're pretty unsurmountable. They could just sort of swarm you.
yeah, I take the
But
spider thing.
if
I
you've got
think
to
I'd
crick
take the
it back,
spider as well. As
I'd
scary
rather
as that
chance.
sounds,
No, I'd rather chance my arm against
what I'm
seagulls with a
thinking
cricket
with the
bat.
spider is when you blow it up to that size, their legs are going to be so sort of vulnerable. You just throw your weight into one of their legs and snap it.
But they got 8 eyes and 8 legs, so I'm not there for that,
I
to be
suppose with the
honest.
seagulls, if you've got a bag of chips in your hand, you could just throw your chips around
Yeah.
and the seagulls would get distracted.
Yeah, that's not
Good.
beating them though.
Mine, 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 mine. And the other one that we had was, would you rather sneeze glitter or burp bubbles for the rest of your life?
Well, burps come a lot more frequently. That's the first thing to consider, don't they? I maybe sneeze once a week, whereas I
Oh, I've
probably
got allergies,
burp
so I
20
sneeze
times
all
a
the time.
day. Um, so what was it? Burp bubbles, sneeze
Or sneeze
glitter.
glitter.
Sneeze glitter.
I'd
That
go for
sounds
glitter
fabulous.
because I'd be like a unicorn. I'd be like, push.
Yeah.
Plus, if you bought that Wales training jacket and you sneeze glitter, then that would go beautifully with it.
It's gonna make it pop, innit? So that is the rando. Now, other big news. I actually had my black feather tattoo, guys.
Go
You've
on
It's
done
then.
it
not the
really.
logo.
Whip it out.
I don't know. It's right near my bra. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can. Like, and I haven't got a tan. Can I?
Don't struggle with it now. Pop a photo on your socials. Oh,
Oh
there we
gosh,
go.
yeah.
We can see it.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
it's bigger than I realized, Sam. I thought it
Yeah.
Oh,
was,
it's yeah,
the
it's
size of my
big.
thumb or something. It's
Oh
big.
no, I've gone. Like it literally
Yeah,
goes from underneath my boob to kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
there. So it's about 4 or 5 inches long.
Hmm.
Um, so I've done it. I've done it. Didn't wait till
Nice.
100
Well
episodes.
done.
What number
I just
episode are we on now?
60
60
something.
something,
Oh, we got a
65,
while yet.
66.
Got a while
Never
yet.
been the kind of girl who waits for things. I'm quite impulsive because when I was there, I also ended up having a tattoo on the other side of dotted love heart with two little paws for my tink and my lottie. So I ended up having two while I was there. So I'm on an uneven number of tattoos again. So I do need another one before the end of the year. Um, oh God, John's gonna mangle me. But that is it for tonight. But we'll have to come back and do another special after this shit show. And
Mhm.
we'll try and spin something positive about it next time. Um,
We
don't
kept
know
the first
what.
half positive tonight, didn't we? It was when
Yeah,
Yeah,
we actually
yeah,
yeah.
started to talk about the rugby and then the WRU, then it went downhill then,
It
didn't
went
it? So,
downhill.
yeah.
Yeah, it went downhill.
Everything Ospreys is great. Everything
It was
exactly.
Team
great.
Wales
Like,
is dire.
go Team Australia, galai.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna practice my Australian accent for next season. Obviously, I've gone in with Ryan Smith already, so I'm gonna get him to introduce me to his mates and get my picture with them. Cause new season, new selfie challenge, innit?
You
Um,
collect them
got,
all. It's like
gotta
there's
be
been a
Pokemon.
new DLC released or something. Ospreys, the Australia version.
I know. Can you imagine? I think it's amazing. We're going to have to come up with some new chants as well for the new season around Australian songs. I am putting it out there now. Rolf Harris's band, not safe for the terraces, but we have got other Australian artists like Jason Donovan, Kylie Minogue, In Excess,
There's got to be something that can be done to Men at Work Down
Men at
Under,
Work,
isn't there? There's
I
got to be
believe.
something that can
Mm.
be
Yeah,
done to
you
that.
know,
Yeah.
gotta be. So that is my challenge to you who are listening. Need you to come up with stuff. And I don't want none of this chat GPT AI shit. Use your brains, create something. Um, and send them to us on our socials. As always, been a pleasure, lads. I have missed you little faces over the summer. But I think we're getting into exciting territory now. We've only got like 4 weeks until the warm-up games and the season starts. As always, if you like, comment, share, subscribe on all Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Even if you hate us, like, comment, share, subscribe. We don't care. Like, I can take the criticism, not a problem.
In fact, some of our biggest haters are our biggest engagers. So, yeah, if you hate us, let us know.
They only hate us because they ain't us. But I'm not mentioning no names, but hey ho. But enjoy the rest of your summer, enjoy the rest of August. When that bombshell drops, we'll do another little special for you. By that time, Rod will hopefully not have a farmer's tan and his hair will have grown in a bit. Me and Mark will still look like we're baking. But
Yeah.
what are we going to end on? Are we going to do the ymlaen y gwaith, or what are we going to do?
We can say ymlaen y gwaelch for the up and coming season, even though there's
Yeah.
nothing in the immediate future.
Okay, so
Should we?
on three.
On 3.
1, 2, ymlaen y
Ymlaen y
gwaith.
gwaelch.